Alright, this live prepper here, we're talking about hiding out in an shtf event and some things you don't need to do. Now I read a lot of the articles on top, but the fact is, what you gotta do is look for physical sign. Like right here, you see the trail here on this here, it's traveled fairly regular. You can tell by the way the grass is pushed down here in a situation. And then as you look over this way, you can see some fragments of some buildings and things in that area. And then you have an open field here as well. You have to look at all of this, not just some of it, on how to survive in an shtf situation, whether it's a virus outbreak, economic collapse, war, even if it's the zombie apocalypse or the aliens coming for you. You have to think about where you as a person can hide. Open fields is dangerous. Yes, there's a couple of abandoned boats that have been here for a while, and you may be able to get some supplies and things you can off these boats, but then again, you can tell this has been traveled, the grass is pushed down, and even though you may be able to hide over here a little bit in the bushes or something other, it still would not be considered safe, because the fact is you need to build a shelter, you need to be able to cook you some food, or whatever reason is to survive, and this place is really too exposed. So you have to take time and look at things in a survival situation, whether it's the building's not. So follow me this way. As we talk about in the towns and the cities and the urban prepping and survival, right here, this is in a town, a city. So you can tell from all this here, you have trees down and things like that you could use for shelter. You could use it for many things, but the problem is, again, is in the shtf event, you're going to still have a lot of people everywhere. So look for things, and trash becomes gold. This here is just an empty container that held a battery. It don't look like much, but I'm going to tell you something other. This here could wash your dishes with, wash clothes with. You can put water in this here to haul it with. Whatever. This here can become something here, because this here is also waterproof. You can turn it upside down, set it on top of things like your food that you cook, and help keep it warm, help keep it dry. So trash will become your treasure. Matter of fact, I think I want to keep this and recycle it, because I figure I'll use it for something. And that's something you have to do. You have to look outside of the box. You have to look at what you have to offer, like this here, or the wood that's rotting. This here's rotted. It's still a little bit damp where it's been raining some, but the fact is, if you have some of this and you can keep it dry.
Great tender.
It's tender here. You can use for your build fires with. If you've ever seen some of them, Ashley will pick up some pieces that's kind of rotted like this, and they'll stick it on their backpack. This is for them to start with, right here. This here would be a good thing to have with you to help start and to help dry it out in an event that you need to try to find shelter. Another thing you have to take into consideration is the type of plants that is around you in the location. Now it's getting later in the year, so many of the plants will start losing their leaves, and you won't be able to recognize them. Like now, this here is a maple, as you can see right here. You need to learn about the different types of wood. Now, trees are not my strong suit, and there's a lot I need to learn about trees.
Isn't maple, though, is where you can get some good syrup for, some good sweetener for that stuff that has no good taste to it?
You take maple syrup, you take it, and it takes about 5 gallons of maple syrup from the tree to make 1 gallon of true maple syrup. And in an event of building a shelter, you need to also find trees like this that's flexible. You see how the branches bend? And my son and I was talking about building shelters. When you're building a shelter, you need these that's going to flex and it's going to bend, so you can shape your area. And another thing, when you're building your shelter, don't build it too large. If you build it too large, you're going to stay a lot colder. The smaller you build it, where you can crawl in there basically, the warmer you're going to stay. And the more dead leaves, you can use the branches here. So we're going to use this here for example right now. Simply piling these branches on top of it and creating your tree here. And pulling all these on there. Then once you have that, you can pile all these leaves on top. And once you have it built, and you have your little hole right here to crawl into, believe it or not, the more layers of debris and leaves and branches that you build and create this foundation, the warmer you will stay. Yes, you're going to have to get on your hands and knees. You're going to have to crawl into that. But I want to tell you, you're going to use your own body heat. And that layers and layers of twigs and the layers and layers of leaves and debris that you're building on this hut will keep you warm. Also, there's another thing. This will blend in with the things around you. People will walk right past you and not even know you're there, because all this debris is built up and they just think it's another pile of leaves or a pile of debris on it. So there's things you can do, but you need to look at that. Like I say, with the open field, you're wasting your time. With this road here, and as like I say, you can tell it's been traveled, you're wasting your time, because chances are other people knows about this. Someone done thrown on some underwear away. I want to tell you, in a situation, you can take that elastic band out of that underwear and use that. Sounds gross, but you can use it. Recycle everything in an shtf lid.
And if in doubt, if you need some toilet paper, there you go.
Yep. There's always plenty of crap paper. As we get on down this way here, like I say, you found there's several things here of kindling and debris. You can tell here with the trees. But then you start to get into town, and this is another thing people don't realize. Say tomorrow, shtf happens. All this here, the humming of the engines, all this other stuff, is going to cease. After 3 months, things will start breaking down. There will be no power, there will be no water, there will be no nothing. You need to take in consideration how you are going to survive. Are you going to pile yourself on top of these buildings and create your barricade for a temporary solution?
Can I iterate just one thing though? Like for instance, that truck right there and that truck right there, and it's like you get those trash cans right there. So you're looking at an unlimited resource, especially if you're very creative and very inventive. You can create literally almost anything. So as far as technology goes and the lack of it, you're actually an unlimited resource, because you don't have to go out and buy this stuff anymore, and you're not confined by governmental ordinances or laws saying that you cannot create this stuff. So in so many ways, you can actually make life a lot easier during the post-apocalypse. Not during, but after the apocalypse.
After things settle down, like Bruce talked about, in the first few days, all this here, people's going to go crazy. They're going to be trying to get out of town. They're going to be robbing from their neighbor. They're going to be pushing people out of the cars. They're going to shoot them to take their vehicles. It's going to be crazy. You're going to have people who you never thought. Your neighbor could have been your best friend, and he'd be at your doorstep with a knife in his hand to cut your throat for your stuff. The thing is, what gains there was may destroy each other. The truth is, we talked about the different races. Unfortunately, many of the races have so much mistrust within their own society, they will become their own worst enemy. So the thing is, if tomorrow all this becomes silent, all this becomes chaos, and things like this that I picked up that people will turn their nose up at would become useful, would become a piece of gold. Because this here, you can use many, many different ways. Like I said, you may end up having to wash your clothes. That one bowl, one cup, one plate, or maybe one skillet that you got, you're going to wash it in this. This could be your rainwater catcher as well. So it's a lot to think about. Because right now, the truck that's just going by me, loaded with furniture for rental or whatever, that truck, the inside of it, you can turn it into shelter. The battery, you can use it to help power something.
Or even start a fire with the battery.
Oh, that's true
With
too.
just a couple pieces of wire, and just like that deadfall that you found right there, you can be able to use that right there as a tinder and get you a little tinder bundle going, and you've got fire with very little effort.
So it's a lot to think about. Research your areas. Take time out to look. Like I said, this would not be a good area at this present time. Later on it may. I may want to turn around and go up there and build me a shelter on the roof. That may be what I will have to do to survive. Because that right there will give you a view for miles around. And again, the buildings will become abandoned if you're able to seal the buildings up and secure them tightly.
And you even have a pole to climb up to.
So it's something to think about, because tomorrow, this may not be here anymore. Tomorrow, you may be doing what I'm doing. Trash dumping, recycling, just trying to survive and trying to get through one day to another and hope that you got enough food to live off of. And it, of course, depends on the time of year. If you got enough sense to harvest things, and make sure you mark the areas. If you know where there is burdock growing, if you know where there's plantain growing, if you know where there's other plants growing, mark the area off so you know to go harvest that during the winter. Pine trees and cedar trees are full of vitamin C, and you can survive if you know what you're looking for. And also, it requires teamwork, because a person doing it by themselves is a lot harder than two people. But then again, it's called building trust. So this is Life Prepper here. I want you to be safe, be happy. I want to bless all you fine folks, but I want you to think outside the box. Until next time.